Hey everyone, welcome back. This week I decided to go try to chase some spring bass on Lake St. Clair. Lake St. Clair is not a lake that I have a lot of experience fishing. I have fished it a number of times throughout my life, but not as consistently. I'm more experienced on the Detroit River and Lake Erie, and even really Lake Michigan. I've probably fished more than I've fished Lake St. Clair. But I did have pretty good success today, so I hope you enjoy the video and stick around to the end and I'll go over the baits that I use to catch these fish.
There's a fish. There's a fish. Another largemouth though. Well, it's a bass either way. We'll take it. Very nice fish. Another nice largemouth. Might be our first smallmouth of the day. Not a huge fish, but solid. Pretty clean, not like those largemouth. There's a fish.
So after a lunch break, I decided to move to a different part of the lake and give it a try. And it took me a little longer over here to find some fish, but I did eventually find a few.
Pretty nice one. Nice smallie, finally. Long time coming, but maybe here in the evening things will heat up a little bit. It's about a 3-pound fish. There's a fish. Another largemouth. About like those ones we caught earlier today. About the same size. Yeah, a little smaller maybe. Maybe 13 inches. Maybe 14. Probably about 13 inches.
All right, so as promised, talk a little bit about the baits that used today. Most of the day I was just throwing some swim baits on 1/4 ounce jig head. These happen to be Squadron swim bait jig heads by Strike King. I can drop a link in the description. But you could probably go a little lighter. I usually tend to err on the light side when it comes to targeting fish like bass or crappie. These are what I had today, and that's what I used. I found most of the fish along the bottom anyhow, so my technique was to just cast this out, kind of let it sink. Most of the day I was fishing in sort of the 8 to, anywhere from probably 7 to 9 foot with an average of about 8 foot of water. That's where most of the fish seem to be in both places that I fished on the lake this afternoon. And then as far as the plastics go, I think most of the time I was throwing this white plastic swim bait. This is made by Z-Man. It's called Pearl is the color. And it caught probably half the fish today. The other colors I was using, I don't remember the brand offhand. I had a few of these left from a previous trip, but it's sort of this, I don't know, kind of green pumpkin, flecky watermelon color swim bait, same size as the other ones, but this sort of green color, that caught 1 or 2 fish. And then the last thing that I was throwing, I didn't use this nearly as often today. I use the swim baits most of the day, but just a standard tube bait. I think this is green pumpkin, and just kind of twitched it along the bottom. So that's going to about do it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you've got advice on bass fishing Lake St. Clair, it's always good to see those comments. I'm still learning. I have not fished that lake, as I mentioned, very much, and so I'm trying to get better at catching those smallies out there. Any advice helps me, but it also helps others that are, checking out the comments and watching the video. So I hope you enjoyed the video, but as we all know, watching videos is no substitute for getting out in the water and putting your time in. And every body of water is different, and every species and every body of water behaves differently than it might in other areas. So just get out there and put your time in, and we'll see you next time.